Gemini, hi, this is your monthly tarot card reading for the month of July. And I'm so excited to be doing this reading for you. I've already pulled your cards. I've already taken a look. Oh, this is a good one. This is a really good one. I think a lot of what I'm going to say today, you're going to be like, okay, I needed to hear that. I will say you're definitely in the middle of a cycle right now. I will say that. You are in the middle of a cycle, and I think there's been some frustration coming up for you. And so let's talk about in July, how things are going to change, how things could change, right? I want to be clear about that. These cards show you potential. The cards show you what can happen. And I believe if you take certain action, right? If you just, I think, continue on this path of frustration that you might be on right now, that might not happen, right? But these cards are indicating to me that with just a few changes really of thought and the way that you show up to what's happening right now, everything can change. And everything honestly is like lining up and looks so good for you. Let's get into it, okay? Let's get into it. So, okay. Gemini, we have the 7 of discs. So I have 2 rows of cards here, and then I have a card on the side here. And this one, we're going to say, I think this indicates you right now. I think this card represents you walking into the month of July. So we're at the end of June here. I don't know exactly when I'm going to release this on YouTube, but you're kind of at the end of June here. We're moving into July, and this card represents you. It is the 7 of discs. Sometimes we refer to this as the 7 of pentacles, the 7 of coins. In this deck, it is the 7 of discs. He's not my friend, but I feel like he's my friend. Minnow Pond Tarot on here. Anytime he talks about the 7 of pentacles or coins, or in this case, discs, anytime that he talks about this card, he always says, this is the card of, is the juice worth the squeeze? Okay. And it's just very much this card of like, what am I working so hard for? I'm not seeing the results, right? This is where I think the frustration is coming from for you, Gemini, is you've been putting in the work. You feel like you're doing the things, and you're just like, okay, what's happening? Why isn't anything happening? What's going on here? So I think I'm almost getting this sense that maybe you've contemplated quitting, that maybe you've contemplated like, is this even worth it? And I want to say absolutely yes, it is. These cards, every single thing that I'm seeing indicates absolutely yes. I think it's just the smallest shifts in you that really in July you can make to start to see those progressions. So much of it is our mindset. So much of it is the way that we're looking at a situation. And if we're in this place of like, this is never going to work, I get it. Trust me, I have those moments all the time from, I'm working out at the gym. When am I going to see a difference? I'm building my tarot business. When is it going to get bigger, right? Like I've had all of these moments so many different times. But ultimately we know that it's like right when you want to quit is the time to keep going. I just did a hike yesterday. It was the same thing. I was like so close to being like, I can't do this. I have to turn around. And it's like, once I got through that, like, I want to turn around, I want to quit, then I just like busted up the rest of the mountain. And was it worth it? Of course it was worth it. It was freaking beautiful, right? So it always is. Every single time I hike, it's the same thing. I get to this point where I want to quit. I bust through it. I shoot up the rest of the hill or mountain. It's definitely not a hill. And got to give myself more credit than that. And it's always worth it, right? So that's where you're at. You're at this moment where we've all been there, right? When you're like running or working out or like hiking or whatever, right? When you're like, I just want to turn around. You're right there. Don't do it. You know what happens when you turn around. Okay. Don't do it. I'm also all about honoring yourself. Like if the most loving thing is to turn around or to quit, then by all means, but I'm really getting a sense that that's not what you want. And all that was really happening right now is you're just in the process of building something. You have so many cards that talk about building and being in a process of being patient and waiting and building. Okay, let's talk about your first row here. So you have the Prince of Discs. And then you have the Prince of Wands, but it's reversed. Okay, so I feel like what's going on here is you're like, look, like the Prince of Discs, you're like, I have all this stuff. I am qualified for this thing to happen, right? Or I have prepared everything for this to be successful. Or I have done my duty to make sure that this should work. Why am I seeing delayed action? Why am I seeing delayed results, right? And then we have a couple other cards here. We have this Four of Wands reversed. So I get this sense that you won't celebrate until you've reached the pinnacle, okay? You have this Eight of Cups and this King of Discs. I really think, King of Discs here, you have to, my invitation to you would be to make sure that you're celebrating all the small milestones. I think for some reason you're not thinking that those are legitimate enough. I want you to look at this card if you can. If you're listening to this, don't look at it, right? If you're like doing something else and you can't look, that's okay. But this Eight of Cups, this is about a journey. I believe in this instance, in this reading, this card is about a journey. And we have to remember too that it is about the destination, but if we're just focused, and I know this is so tacky and we talk about it all the time, right? It's the journey, not the destination. But I think why you're feeling like, why is nothing happening? Prince of Wands reversed. It's because you're not actually checking out any of these mile markers along the way. You're not taking the pit stop. You're not looking at the scenic overlook. You're not, stopping into that really weird, I'm thinking, okay, so when I was driving through South Dakota once, we were on this huge road trip and, what is it called? Wall Drug. If you've heard of Wall Drug, comment below. In South Dakota, it's this weird, like Western store or something, right? And it was a detour and we got off the interstate and went and saw it, right? But like, my boyfriend and I still talk about that place, right? Like, yes, we were headed to a certain destination and we do also talk about what we did at that destination, but part of what we talk about is what we hit along the way. So I think in a way, you are seeing results in whatever you're working on here, but because you're not actually stopping and looking at those things and celebrating those things, you're not actually realizing any of the progress that you're making. And so you can't actually then measure the progress because you're missing all of it. Does that make sense? Another really good example of this is, and it's very, like, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of weighing yourself on a scale, but I think this is an interesting point. So I follow someone that they talk about how this person believes in weighing themselves every single day if they're trying to lose weight, because they, instead of just are kind of seeing, like, instead of seeing random markers of, like, so let's just say you randomly weigh yourself one day and then you don't weigh yourself for another 3 weeks and then you weigh yourself the next day and the next day and you're like, oh my God, I've lost no weight, like in those 2 days or whatever. And it's super sporadic, right? You can't actually measure, like that's like if a scientist was weighing you, they wouldn't do it that way, right? They'd probably do it like every single day at the same time before you've eaten anything. Like they'd have all these like controls of basically how to make sure that they were getting the most accurate representation of the change, right? And then they would do it every single day. And that's what this person that I follow is suggesting, is you do it every single day. You take an average every week, so then you get a more accurate measurement. And she's like, most of the time you're actually making more progress than you think. So again, I'm not a big fan of weighing yourself on the scale. That's not what I'm trying to tell you to do. Maybe that is what you're doing, right? And if that is, that's totally fine. But And again, maybe I don't like weighing on the scale because I'm not good at doing it in an accurate way like that. maybe that's my issue, right? But no, like, I think that's a really good metaphor for you, is like, you're checking in about your success and your progress so sporadically that it's not actually really that accurate. So I want to give you a little homework in July. How can you be a little bit more accurate with your measurements of your success? Are you setting goals and then breaking those goals down? Because if you just have one really huge goal, right? Like, let's say you started a business and you want to hit $100,000 for the year. Well, if you're not tracking like every single day what is leading you to that thing, because what does that break down to, right? Like, whatever the math would be, how much do you need to make every day? Maybe that's a better thing to be looking at, instead of, oh my God, I'm still 60,000, I'm still 80,000 away, whatever, right? I think you get what I'm saying. I would really encourage you to find ways to start checking in more frequently with your success. Again, like, you do have all of the tools. And I think your frustration with this Prince of Wands reversed, I think it's really that you're wanting it all. It's kind of almost an immature energy. And it's not that you yourself are immature. It's more that you are newer in this pursuit. And so you're just wanting it all, and you're wanting it now. And you haven't had the maturity in this thing that you're doing to realize that there's ebbs and flows and good times and bad times and ups and downs, and the small wins are big wins, right? I just had someone say this to me the other day. As I'm growing, I've built social media followings and things in the past because I've had other businesses, but like with my tarot, I'm starting from scratch. And so, I'm building my TikTok and I'm building my YouTube. And she's like, every time she follows me, she's like, every time I see you just gain like one follower, I'm like, yes, that's such a big deal. She's like, she's been making money from social media for years and years and years. And, she's like, I remember being in that stage and thinking that wasn't a big deal. She's like, but now that like I am where I am, and, I've grown in this way, like basically she has more maturity in this space, right? She has more wisdom and maturity and experience in this space. So she can look at it now and go, wow, like that is like every single person that follows you, or every single little win is actually a bigger deal than you realize. So I think you're thinking that you're going nowhere, but it's just because it's this like, kind of frantic, like, I really see it as someone that's like brand new in their career, and they're just like, I want everything, I want to get promoted, da, 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 da. And then you have like the people that have been at the company for 25 years and they're like, just relax, everything will get done. They're just kind of more grounded. You're just not grounded yet in what you're doing, and that's okay. That's totally fine. That's actually where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be energetic. You're supposed to be excited. You're supposed to be trying to scrap things together and make things happen. But just know that that's why sometimes you feel like, oh my God, is this really working? Yes, it is. You just haven't been in it long enough to realize that this is all just part of the process. So keep going and celebrate all the small wins, okay? Please and thank you. Empress reversed. Again, I think you're thinking, I can't do this. I'm not meant to do this. I can't. No. You have the 8 of discs right next to it. You're just in the middle of the process. That's literally it. You're just building this thing. And look at this 8 of wands. This person has like a cloak on. They are like away from the world, right? Sometimes like you just kind of have to put your nose down and keep going. And I think sometimes too, because we're in this world of such instant gratification of everything, we can have everything instantly. We have forgotten that things take time, and it's not just a couple days, right? Again, I have to keep reminding myself this as I build this tarot business. This is going to take a while, and a while is not a week. A while is not 2 weeks. A while is not a month. It could take a couple months. It could take a couple years. I know that's not what you want to hear. I do think it is going to happen faster than that for you, my friend. I really do. I truly do believe that. But again, it's not about that destination either. There's still success and wins in that process, right? but we have to remember that things take time. Nature, there's this amazing quote. What is it? Nature doesn't rush, yet everything is accomplished. So remember that as long as you are waking up every day, I think this is a great measure of success, honestly. As long as you're waking up every day and making some sort of progress, right? I used to be a business coach, by the way. So I totally, I can speak to this. I've worked with many, many, many people building businesses. And I don't know if you're building a business, Gemini, but I kind of get a sense that it's something like that. And it really just is about waking up every day and making one move, just one. You don't have to make 15, just one towards your goal. And again, I think that's kind of that maturity aspect. Again, King of Discs here. It's that knowing, and the King of Discs knows what he's capable of, and he knows his skill sets. You have the Prince of Discs and the King of Discs. It's this knowing and this maturity of I know that I am more than capable and prepared and suited for this thing. It's just that I have to just keep showing up. Okay, a couple other things. Queen of Discs. Queen of Cups. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Queen of Cups. There we go. I can speak now. Queen of Cups reversed. Three of Discs reversed. Please also, do not isolate on this journey. I know that with the Eight of Discs, I talked about, putting your nose to the grindstone a little bit and getting to work. And sometimes it's just a day after day grind for a while, and that's just what it is. And it's not fancy and it's not glamorous. But I think this is really asking you to step into a community a little bit. Queen of Cups, I really think is asking, it's coming up reverse because I think you're kind of closing yourself off to your emotional needs right now, that you might need support, that you might need comfort, that you might need someone to tell you, like me, it's okay, you're on the right track, just keep going. Look at you. You should celebrate that. I know that's not your ultimate goal, but that's a piece of your goal that you just did. That's great. Good for you. You need that. And I think you're kind of denying yourself of that right now. Because again, I think it's a little bit of the immature energy in this business, right? Again, this is nothing about you. This is about your experience level in this new thing. I think you're thinking I shouldn't be struggling yet, or I should be having more success, or I should be this, or I should be that. Whatever those shoulds are, you're a human and things are hard. I mean, this world right now is just hard in general. And then you're trying to do even this bigger accomplishment. Please allow yourself to be supported. Three of Discs. This is a card all about collaboration and working with other people and getting ideas from other people and literally sharing resources. So I would really ask you, how can you tap into this month? Is there a group that you know of maybe that would be supportive for you to join? Is there a course that you've been wanting to purchase? Is there, just a group that you'd like to be a member of? I think as I'm saying this, you're probably already thinking of something yeah, I guess it's time to do that. Yeah, it is. You do not have to do this on your own. They are also the biggest thing. The last thing I'll say is, again, I think it's really important for you to keep celebrating these small things along the way. That's how you ultimately build momentum and grow faster and faster. What a lot of memberships and communities and groups of people can do is they can help you celebrate along the way, because it's so much easier for someone else to see you and your success than it is for yourself, right? Because you're always just going to be harder on yourself, set higher goals. You know what I mean? Someone on the outside can really just see you and celebrate you. And that also helps build your momentum. So that would be my other little suggestion to you. Of course, you could take or leave anything that I say, as always, but I say go for it. Try to go find that place where there are like-minded people and you can get the support that you deserve. Okay. All right, Gemini. And as I'm saying this, I'm I feel like you might be cringing a little bit to some of what I said of do I really have to join that group? Do I really have to celebrate all these little things? I just want the big success. I know, but you got to enjoy the journey, right? Take the pit stops, see the scenic views. That's so important too, because when you look back on this, That's the kind of stuff that you're going to remember. All right. Much love to you, Gemini. Hope this helped, and I hope you have a great July.